Y'all, I really don't mean to make this channel a dating series channel. I really don't mean to, but this channel is about like little short moments of my life that I kind of just want to keep track of, and this story is one of them. Tell me why in a week span of time I got ghosted twice by two different men. And it is quite embarrassing and frustrating. So like a week ago, I met this guy on Bumble. I met both guys on Bumble, actually. Let's call the first one T. I met him on Bumble and we were talking for like a day or two, right? And then we talked Thursday. Friday, we exchanged numbers. And then after that, we were talking all day Friday, right? All day Friday, we were talking and having a really good time. And then Saturday comes along and I don't hear from him. Literally nothing. I hear not a thing. So just so you know, this mark is from a burn a couple days ago. So no worries, I'm okay. My thing is that if we've only been talking for a few days online and we started like talking in text messages offline, you don't have to talk to me every day. You don't have to. I'm perfectly okay with not hearing from you every single day. My rule of thumb is that if I don't hear from you in about 24 hours, I am okay. I'm starting to think something's a little off, but I'm generally okay with it. So T ended up responding to me on Sunday. Sunday is when he finally responded to me and said something like, "Oh, I'll talk to you and I'll see you later," or something like that. So let's just keep in mind here that this guy pursued me. He asked for my number. We exchanged numbers. He was really interested in me on Friday all day, talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you sound so cool. Like, I want to take you on a date. I want to get to know you." All this great stuff. He said all the right things. And then Saturday ignores me. Sunday, he finally comes back and says, "Hey, how are you doing?" Again, we talked all day again on Sunday. And then that Sunday night, he was like, "Oh, I want to talk to you. Can we set up a phone call so we can get to know each other a little bit better? I want to hear your voice." Again, being really, really sweet and kind. We planned to talk to each other at 7 p.m. the next day because I was going to get off work at 6:15, and I was going to come back home around 7. And I was like, "Yeah, you can call me." And I wanted him to call because, it's just nice. But I told him to call me at this time. I got home around 6:30 and I said, "You can call me whenever you want. I'm home now." Silence. This man never called. Even though he was the one that made plans that he wanted to talk to me, and he never freaking called. And I was like astounded by that. I was like, what is going on? So he never called me. And I was like, okay, whatever, forget about him. Maybe the next day I'll hear from him or something like that. Monday comes, nothing. Tuesday comes, nothing. Wednesday comes, nothing. Thursday, I finally hear back from him and he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry I did not call you back." And I was like, what? So you just ghosted me for 4 days. What am I supposed to do with that? And I told him I wasn't interested anymore, and then that situation was done. At the same time this was happening, I was talking to another guy. Let's call him C. C and I started talking around the same time. I think him and I started talking like maybe Wednesday, I want to say. Again, Tuesday. We started talking on Tuesday of that same week that I was waiting to hear back from T. I started talking to C on Tuesday. I remember it was Tuesday because my girlfriend and I went to Taco Tuesday. That's the day that we started talking. So that's a very particular memory of mine. So we were talking. He was very engaging, pursued me, asked for my number. We exchanged numbers. At this point, I'd forgotten about T, right? I'd forgotten about him. And I was like, whatever, I'll hear from him. Tuesday comes. I started talking to C that night. Very engaging, pursued me, asked for my number right away. We exchanged numbers. He texted me and I was like, okay, this is good. Again, he was like, "Oh, I want to see you. I want to get to know you more." And I was like, okay, sure. This sounds really, really good. The thing I liked about C was that he was very engaging. Something that he did that really impressed me was we were talking all day on Wednesday. And we were talking, asking questions back and forth, and he literally called me on the phone and he was like, "Oh, I just did not want to wait to call you on the phone. I'd rather just talk to you on my way home versus waiting for an hour to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so nice. That's actually really nice. That's a green flag for me." A man not waiting, not being able to wait to talk to me is a very, very good green flag for me. So him and I talked all day. We talked all day Wednesday. Thursday comes, and then I finally hear back from T, cut him off. And then Thursday, me and C continued talking. Actually, that Thursday night, me and C made plans for Saturday to see each other on Saturday. We were gonna go get drinks on Saturday at 7. And we were gonna start making plans for that. And then Friday morning comes, and C texted me. And he was like, oh, I think I asked him a question like, do you want us to continue talking before? I get kind of weird about this because I never know if we should be talking between the talking stage and the first date, because there are some things I want to ask, but then I want to ask them in person, so I just never know. So I texted him and I said, do you want to continue talking before our first date? And he's like, yeah. So that was from that morning. I heard from him that morning. And then I never heard from him again. Even though we made plans, even though he pursued me, even though he asked for my number, even though he did all the right things, I never heard from this man again. It is now Monday. We made plans Friday or Thursday, I believe, to go out on Saturday evening, and I have not heard from him. I texted him a few times and I was like, are you okay? What's going on? Not a word. I have not heard from him. So I don't know what this is. I don't know if I have something about me that men just want to get to know and see what they could get and then forget about me. But that's my life. Getting ghosted twice in a week by a man, by 2 different men. That's insane. So again, I don't want to turn this into a dating thing, but that's what my life is looking like. So I just have a question. If you're a man watching this, I have a question for you. And I'm not saying that every time I talk about this men versus women thing, men will be in my comments saying, oh, well, women do it too. Yes, women do ghost too, right? So I'm speaking from my perspective as a woman because I'm not a man. I don't live as a man. I don't have experience of a man, so I don't know. So from a woman that dates men, I want to know from the men. Again, I'm not saying that women don't do this too, because I'm sure they do. But why do men ghost? Why do men ghost? Why do you pursue women, right? Why do you pursue women? Why do you seem like you're interested in them and then you ghost? It's either because you're married or you're just not ready to actually date anybody, right? Or you have a girlfriend, you have a life, and you're just not really ready, or you get too busy. But like, I genuinely want to know, why pursue me? Why be so engaging and so interested only to ghost at the end of the day? That's not nice. That's not fair. That's especially for somebody like me who is looking for something a little bit more serious and something that wants a relationship. When you pursue me and then ghost me, that's playing games. All you have to say is, I'm not interested. All you have to do is say, let's cancel the date tonight. I'm no longer interested. Why can't you just do that? Why can't you just say, I'm no longer interested and I don't want to go out with you anymore? Instead of leaving people hanging, instead of not like making things clear in the beginning. Why? I don't get it, and I never will. And it's aggravating and it's frustrating to be in this world of dating when people want to just play you like this. It's disgusting and I hate it. I know I'm getting a little heated about this, but it's just very, very, very annoying frustration because this happens a lot. And not only to me, this happens a lot. And then something else is, if you're not ready to date, don't date. But if you find out later that you're definitely not ready to date, just make it clear that you don't want to date. Don't leave people hanging, because I don't do that to people. I don't leave people hanging. Last time I ghosted a guy was maybe like 2 years ago. I wanted to date with this guy, and at the end of the day, he kind of forced a kiss on me that I was not prepared for or ready for, and that made me feel really uncomfortable. I never talked to him again, right? And he never reached out either. So that's where we left things, right? But had he reached out to me and said, are you okay? What's going on? I would have answered him. But no, C just decided to ignore me. And that's what I'm pissed off about. Stop ghosting. It's not nice. It's not kind. Just be real and be straightforward.